What's up, guys? And as you can tell from the enthusiastic music in the introduction that I'm very excited to be sitting inside of this Toyota Supra MK4 here. And this thing is ridiculous, guys. Now if we go into the electronics and we push this turbo up to 100%, which is what we will be running, is going to be pushing about 700 horsepower, at least 690 at least horsepower. And of course we're going to turn ABS off because unlike the last video when we were trying to get the fastest time we could on the Lamborghini Murcielago and completely failed at that, this video will be ignoring all times. We don't care about the times. It's, you know, we're here stuck at home in quarantine. What else can we do but just enjoy the road and drift this beautiful Mark IV Supra around the Spa de Francorchamps circuit, which is probably an opportunity none of us will ever get in our whole entire lives. You know, you get a chance to drive a Supra, but getting a chance to drive a Supra around circuit Spa de Francorchamps is highly unlikely. Now my guy's head is like sticking through the roof here, so really quickly I'm gonna go ahead and put myself down a little. That should be good enough. And man, I just love the power in this car. If I can get to, okay, there you go. So, you know, as we did with the Murcielago, we got to take a listen to this car. And personally, as much as I love the V12 Lamborghini, I feel like the mod didn't give justice to the sound of the V12 in the Murcielago. But of course, Kunos, the developers of Assetto Corsa, did an amazing job with the sounds on this car. Just take a listen. And it's even better when we put it in gear and get it going. So, man, I'm excited. Let's warm the tires up real quick. Get that nice thick burnout going. Peel the tires, peel them. There you go. And we're off. Let's see how we do. Now, if you guys looked at my setup, I think this setup is probably the best for this circuit. The third gear is long enough for you not to run out of. Gonna go ahead and send it into third before this turn. Oh man, it just, once you get it into that right line, you know, it's just so beautiful. Just does most of the job for you, but of course you do have to be on the steering wheel while you're drifting this car. It's nothing to joke about. I find it difficult to go through that corner where you have to kind of send it into fourth out of third gear. I feel like as soon as I send it into fourth, I am all out of boost. Send it in fifth gear through here. Very nice, very fun car to drive, especially with the amount of space you get on Spa. It's a lot of room to take some wider lines. You know, we're gonna go ahead and handbrake it in through here. Kick it with the clutch. You gotta keep on kicking it just to keep the RPMs high in there for the turbos to be always spooling and always working. You know, you can never let those turbos rest. Alright, so this is my favorite section of the track for sure to drift this car on. A lot of transitions. You gotta be very delicate with her. Here we go. Full lock in through there. I really had to rely on my right foot and we screwed it up. We screwed it up really badly in through there. I don't know what's happening with the steering wheel, but the car just seems to want to hit full lock. I'm guessing the tires may be a little too hot right now. I don't want to send it, you want to be too soft with it, because of course if you are too soft with the car, you know, you won't have enough speed. Here we go, handbrake, just a bunch of pumps on the handbrake and a clutch kick right afterwards, and we get ourselves a really nice line. So here I've noticed that the fourth gear seems to work the best, and I kind of like to take this longer line. Of course, as you can tell, we're getting a lot of angle, which is not something that we specifically want in the beginning of that turn. Look at this, man. It just does not go straight after a while, but here we go. Here we go. Switch it over. Nice. The transitions are very surgical in this car. You gotta be quick on them. You gotta be quick on them, and you gotta be accurate. And look at this, just a little bit too much speed, and we found ourselves. Look at how hard it is to get her out. She just spins for days. Jeez. A lot of power. A lot of power under the hood. You really find yourself at the peak of the gas, at the peak of the RPMs. You're gonna find yourself spinning a lot like I am right now. I'm doing this just to show you guys how much power it is, and of course it's a lot, especially when you're sending it through these big corners. You don't want to get too much grass. You don't want to get too much grass. Quick, surgical in the transitions. You don't want to let the car go full lock like I did there. And once the tires get really, really heated, you know, it becomes really hard to prevent the car from hitting that full lock. But I mean, we can still do our best. I'll go down into fourth and try and nail this section, actually. Going over those bumps on the apex is extremely difficult, because it just takes the snappiness and amplifies it by like 100. Woo. Getting more control of the car now, getting more used to it and how it feels, and that is the primary reason why I love this car in this game so much. It's just so different. It's so delicate. You have to be so surgical with it in order to keep it going. And once you hit that full lock, you know, it has these flaws with the car that really make it, they give it character, they make it fun to drive, and you can't just full throttle it, because you can tell it becomes extremely snappy. Gonna go ahead, flick it over here. Beautiful. Oh yeah. Yeah. So let's go ahead and take a cool down lap, because I find myself getting stuck with the talking while I'm focusing so hard on keeping this thing controlled through the turns. So let's take it easy on this out lap and talk about the car and why I like it so much in comparison to some of the mods that I've been playing around with. First of all, the sounds, the blow-off valve sounds absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely well done by Kunos. And secondly, it has its own quirks, you know, like just drifting this car, it feels really in depth. You're really becoming one with the car. It's oftentimes when you drift like those modded cars. Here, I'll pull over here just to show it to you, right? So let's say you're initiating in the drift. You let go of the steering wheel to catch it, right? It's gonna spin like this and you're gonna catch it, right? So let's say you're holding a drift here. We're drifting like, let's say, hold on. Let's say we're drifting to our right side and we catch the steering wheel like this and we're just drifting, right? You just kind of hold it like this and you wiggle it. With this car, if here I am drifting, right? I'm gonna have to keep fluctuating from this, you know, to keep it from going into full lock, because once I catch it over here in full lock, it's gonna be a really big struggle. And with this car, you really have to make sure that you're actually correcting a lot. Instead of just correcting tiny bits like this here and there, you have to correct a very good amount. And of course, I'm very happy that it's this car that is like that, you know, not any other car, because it's a Supra, and the Supra is just the 90s icon. you know, of drifting, street racing, you know, just pure beauty of a supercar. It's all combined into one, you know, this rowdiness of a teenager's love of drifting and street racing, all the way to an old man's love of exotic cars and just classy vintage looks. It's gorgeous. You know, we can always just like, it never gets boring, you know, it just, you're drifting a Supra, it doesn't get boring. Oh, I screwed that one up. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this as much as I did. And if you're trying to learn how to drift in Assetto Corsa, I'm not sure, perhaps many viewers will already be really good at it, but if you're just considering about starting out drifting in Assetto Corsa, I'd say this car is a little more difficult. The transitions, I said, are extremely surgical with this car. You really have to flick it hard in the transitions. You know, you have to know what you're doing. There's no like gut feeling with the transitions. You really have to know it. You really have to know when to do it. You have to tell yourself when to do it. The car, it doesn't really tell you, because as soon as you have to transition, the car snaps hard. It snaps really hard, and you have to compensate for that almost instantly. So I'd say a better car, I think it's like a baby version of this car in this game, is the M3 BMW, the manual stick shift M3 BMW. Also has a really light steering wheel, almost like you have to give your raw inputs into it. And if you become comfortable with that car, you can go ahead and take this out and, you know, give it a little bit of give it a little spin, you know, let it spin a little bit, use the power. You'll notice that this car can be a little easier to drift than one of those lower speed cars, because you got the power, you know, you can never, it's really easy to run out of power with slower cars, but with this car, you'll notice that it's actually, you cannot run out of power that easy. I'm just throwing it around at this point. But yeah, so you get the point of it. I definitely feel like if anybody wants to experience this, they definitely should. It's a great gateway into drifting. I might take out a modded car next time, maybe around a mod track like an Ebisu track, and just show you guys exactly the difference between this go ahead and turn the car off, or we'll just pull it over on the side. Man, it's a beautiful car. It was a pleasure driving this for you guys, and if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like. I hope you all are staying safe during this quarantine time, and I hope you're enjoying driving these cars during quarantine. I hope you're spending your time the right way, doing the right things. You know, it's a perfect opportunity for all of us to learn new things, to use our time with regard to ourselves. You know, there's a lot of really good content on YouTube that I've been watching, trying to learn as much as I can. And I hope you all stay safe, and let me know if you guys have any specific tracks or cars that you want me to drift. Any skill level, I'm open to try and even fail at it. It's gonna be great. Alright, I hope you guys have a great one.